Bonner Arnold Coliseum today. Jump back to another Juco coach, which is pretty cool for me, getting a little different exposure, and it's nice meeting different coaches at that next level. Today we're gonna have Wright, who is the men's basketball coach here at NorthEast Mississippi Community College. Cord, thanks so much for joining me,
Absolutely.
man.
Glad to be here, man. Thank you for coming up here.
So, just to get into it, I was reading your profile. You've been around coaching for a while. Your pops got you into that, I imagine, or I know you played. So, what were you headed more towards playing or towards coaching? What was your desire?
Well, I mean, obviously, we started off playing ball, so that was being that my dad was a college coach. I grew up in the game, around the game, always wanted to play. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I was going to coach. And I always wanted to coach at the college level. I've been fortunate to be able to jump into college level and stay there. Never done anything in high school, but just being with my dad in that profession, I knew what I wanted to do. I love basketball, and I've jumped in this business, and I've been a college coach. I think this is my 22nd maybe year. 11 of them here at NorthEast, and then as my path has developed to different places across the country, it's been a wonderful ride so far.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting because most people they sometimes do high school then they
Right.
jump to college. So you got to kind of leapfrog that.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Right out of college, I got through playing, and one of my dad's actually a guy who played for my dad, a former player at South Alabama, was the head coach at North Alabama. He'd just gotten a job, and he had a full-time spot. Then he also had a graduate assistant spot, and so Bobby Champagne is his name, and so Bobby called me and wanted to know if I wanted to be a graduate assistant. And at the time, obviously, I was fresh out of school, so getting my master's was important to me, and the timing of it all, because I know when you take that break, sometimes it's hard to want to get back. So
Yeah.
I was fortunate to jump down there for 2 years, worked for Coach Champagne, got my master's degree from North Alabama, and then it just so happened that the year I got my master's degree, our assistant coach left, and he put me on full time. So I was able to kind of jump right into it at the Division II level, and I was there for 8 years. And then I moved on to Louisiana Monroe, spent 3 years there with Keith Richard, and then been here for 11. So it's been a good journey. But yeah, I jumped right into the college scene. Was fortunate, very blessed in that area, and it's worked out for me.
Now I know you said so your dad, longtime coach. What are some stuff or things that you picked up from him over the years that's helping you now in your coaching career?
There was so many different things that obviously, as a coach and then a father, that he's taught me and showed me, whether it's by visually showing it to me or just by him leading by example. But consistency, being accountable, showing up, and those are some things that sometimes you take for granted. But my dad's one of those guys. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. If he's supposed to be somewhere, he's there. And so I learned over the years from him, just hold yourself accountable, being where you're supposed to, and obviously you got to hold yourself to a certain standard that you're above your players, and they follow you throughout the years. So I don't know if there's one thing particular that from his coaching style of mine that I've picked up, but I just think his overall characteristics of what he's had in his programs is something that I picked up and tried to carry through for mine.
Cool, man. Cool. That's always nice when you got skin in the game.
Yeah,
learning from your pops.
absolutely.
Best example.
Absolutely.
Now, saw that you were a 3-point specialist, man, back in your day,
Yeah,
dropping them dimes.
that's it. That's it.
So, how do you feel as far as where the NBA is going? Like, Curry, Clay, Splash Brothers changed the game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Where the game's going with the 3-point shot?
Obviously, it's things adjust, and you got to adjust with them. I'm a fan of it. We don't necessarily have a philosophy here. We're going to let it just fly, but we do shoot a bunch of threes. And there's some old school to be able to still get. It's kind of like a football. You got to be able to run the ball and throw the ball.
Yeah.
Still got to be able to throw the ball inside. You still got to get some interior buckets. But that 3-point shot has changed the game. It can go from a 3-point game to a 20-point game in a couple possessions as much as you can be down and get right back in it. So as times are adjusted, you got to adjust to that. I think it makes the game entertaining at times, and it equalizes the game. It takes the big man. I mean, I think I saw a stat last year where maybe it was Golden State that didn't have a player over like 6'8", which is so ironic in the NBA because you got 6'8" point guards at times.
Yeah.
So It was unique, but it does. It stretches the floor and brings the skill level. You got to really be able to shoot the ball, and that's one thing we look for, and everybody looks for now in recruiting is, when guys recruit our players, can they shoot, coach? Can they make shots? Because no matter what position they are, that's how the game's evolved. So I'm all for it. I think it's exciting. Makes the game interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I know some of the older heads they don't really like it, but I guess the game it comes in waves, it changes.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you got to adjust. I mean, some people are going to like traditional, throw it inside, and run a certain type of offense. And
yeah,
it's like anything. Football's changed. Or it used to be Alabama's going to ground it and pound it and everything else, and now everybody spreads it out and tries to score 70. So some people don't like that, but you got to adjust, and if that's what it takes to win, you got to do it. So.
yeah, yeah. So now, I read something that you won or were named a hot junior college coach. I mean, I'm sure your
Yeah.
wife physically she calls you hot,
I don't know. You would hope so, maybe, but
but what was that award about?
they had a top 50 JUCO coach about 2 or 3 years ago, and just however I got on it, I got on it. Obviously fortunate to be on there. Obviously, anytime you get awards of that nature, you recognize for certain things. It's all us coaches know. It's not me. It's our program. It's our players. It's my assistant coaches. I mean, all those things go into what anybody does successfully. It's like our guys. I mean, guys and players that get scholarships, and it's all a combination of everybody doing this thing together. And so, anytime you can get them, it's great. Obviously, when you get awards and you get recognized, that means you're doing things the right way. People are, obviously paying attention to what you're doing, and that's a reflection of me. It's my name that got on there, but it's NorthEast. It's my assistant coaches. It's our program that's giving you that opportunity. And NorthEast is tradition. I mean, dating back to years ago, and so it's just a combination of things. Very excited. It's a good thing. Appreciative, thankful, but like anything, you got to validate it.
Yeah,
and that's what we've been trying to do the last couple of years.
yeah. I just was walking around in the gym before we got started. Saw the banners up there. It seems that there's a rich basketball history here in
Yeah,
Northeast
absolutely,
Mississippi.
absolutely. I mean, I think anybody in the state and even nationally understand NorthEast is known for basketball.
Yeah,
It's been a basketball school back in the days between our women's team winning national championships to our men's team playing for national titles, and it's always been rich in basketball. A lot of tradition. A lot of men and women, but in our case, men have come through this floor and played here, and it's a special place. It's unique because so many people. Me, I'm being from Louisiana. I come and it was when I got here, it was just you go anywhere and people know NorthEast. And I was so shocked on just humbled, I guess, to say this. You go into certain gyms, oh man, I played there, and how much people in town want to help this, the community college and us and everything else. And it's a real unique place. It's a special place. It's well recognized. People know it. Like I said, the tradition here, the players that have moved on, and it's really interesting and fun to be a part of.
that's cool, man. That's awesome. Now, somebody told me this. I don't know if this is a shot disrespect, but I wanted to ask a JUCO coach about it. So he said JUCO equals the G League and Division 1 equals the NBA. Is that how do you feel about that statement?
I mean, I'd say that's like anything. There's different steps. There's different levels. You know, I don't look at it as being disrespectful. I think everything's got to be valued and equal to something. Junior college, like I said, it's the G League. It's a step up. These players are here for 1 year, 2 years max, trying to make sure that they get the most out of this opportunity. Junior college is awesome because it's got so many kids. I mean, I got 15 guys on my team, and all 15 are here for a different reason,
Yeah.
or got here a different way, or come from a different background. So you got a lot of pieces that you put together, but they're here for for a lot of them. You hope 1 year, and they get the opportunity to bounce out and get to the next level. 90% of them, or probably all 100%, their goal is Division 1. It's typically everybody's dream, D1 or bust. But a lot of our guys have moved on to play at Division 2s and NAIAs and had success. So it is a stepping stone. I would say that you could say Division 1 is the NBA because it's the top of the line. That's where you want to be. It's a fair assumption to say that it's G League, D1 type situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that on Twitter and I was like, you know what? I gotta
Yeah.
ask a coach how they feel about that.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't think it's a negative thing. It's got to be somewhere, so you might as well fit in where you can. So
Yeah. Speaking of players, I remember I when I moved here to Mississippi, I heard about NorthEast, just a couple of the junior colleges around me. But I saw a clip of Jalen Rice in one game, man, like threw down this
yeah,
between the legs
yeah,
dunk, and it became a reel and it took off.
yeah.
How was it seeing that during the game?
Well, fortunately, we were up big. So when he took off, I knew he was going to do it. Everybody's like, "There's no way you knew that." I was like, "I've seen him do it a bunch of times in practice. I've seen him do it." Jalen Rice is super athletic, so we were up by a good amount. So it didn't necessarily have any bearing on the game, thank goodness. But right when he took off, and I saw him kind of get his feet together, I knew what he was going to do, and it was impressive. And it's been one of those things, like you said, it got hot on the live streaming to different people, and so many recruits had, man, coach, man, look at that, I saw that. That was cool. And I'm like, yeah, they were like in a real game.
Yeah.
So it was definitely unique. I wouldn't recommend it, in a tight game by any means. But he did. It was impressive, and he dunked it. I mean, he was up there high, and he dunked it easily. So it was cool.
Yeah, and he was one of the players who he's gone on to play
Yeah,
at the next level, I
yeah.
believe, right?
He signed with Cleveland State, so he's up there now. And talked to their coaches, doing really well. So Jalen's a tremendous young man, both on and off the floor. And there's a guy that came here from Madison Central, but he spent 3 years with me because of the COVID year. And I had an opportunity last year to leave. Had some schools recruiting him, but just felt like he needed one more year. And so very, very fortunate that he chose to stay with us for another year. He's here with me for 3, and he signed with Cleveland State and doing really well. So proud of him.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, Northeast Mississippi Community College, you said it's uh, very rich history in basketball. What do you guys promote when y'all are going to recruit? Like, what are some points that you tell parents or you tell kids the benefit of coming to the school to play basketball?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to develop the relationship with them. And then as they get to this campus, and I'm sure that you noticed when you got here, it's eye opening. I mean, it's a beautiful campus. Our maintenance crew that they do it. They keep it up year round. And so it's a lot of times people come to campus and they're like, "Man, coach, I didn't realize it was this nice. I'm glad we came up here." And so we try to get them to campus, sell them on the campus. Our facilities are middle of the league. I mean, there's some facilities in our league that are really, really nice. But what we, in one of our games, there's crowds, and our town really, really supports our college and supports our teams, and in my case, basketball. So we show them clips of games, and we have teams come, kids come to games and show, and then just how much the people care here. And it's not one of those recruiting spiels, and that's what makes Northeast easy. I say easy, but to recruit to recruiting is always hard. But what sells itself is our people here, man. From our president, vice president, all the way down athletic directors and everybody, they sell the college themselves. You don't have to really set up on a campus tour the opportunity to meet with this person and allow them to tell you what they want to tell you. You just run into our president, walk around campus, and he's going to talk to you like he's very interested in you coming here. And it's just the setting here sells itself. And so we always just feel well the relationship with the kids, get them to come to campus, and allow the campus, the tradition, what we've done, hopefully kind of sell itself.
That's nice. That's nice. So, maybe I'm sure over the years you've learned different recruiting points. Was there any coaches that were maybe fundamental in helping you with recruiting, with X's and O's, relating to the players? Were there coaches that helped you do that along the way?
Yeah, like I said, when we first started, I mean, I think first and foremost, my dad, just because he had the experience, and I grew up in a house where I was going to get knowledge whether I wanted it or not in his case. And then I've been fortunate to work for some really good guys. I worked with a guy by the name of Dale Cool. Then I've worked with Bobby Champagne. Now Bobby's at Houston right now as an operations guy. But Bobby kind of Coach Champagne was the one that kind of maybe was my first true, coach. I worked under him for 8 years, mentored me, showed me a lot. We still talk all the time. And then, I got an opportunity to work with Keith Richard and, working at Division I level and understanding how things function and the magnitude that everything's done at. So just a kind of a culmination of all those things. And then, like anybody, you follow coaches that you like and know how their style stuff, and you read it. And now it's so much easier with technology to to get a hold of some stuff.
Yeah.
But like this summer, I went out and saw LSU work out for a couple of days. I went to see McNeese work out for a couple of days, and then Louisiana Lafayette. So you pick up the goods and the bads, and then reading and different stuff of that nature, and you kind of develop what fits for you.
Nice. Is there a certain NBA coach you kind of like his style?
No, I mean NBA is so different.
Okay.
The biggest thing I try to get out of the NBA when I watch games is they are incredibly good on out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, baseline out of bounds. There's some stuff that they run that's incredible. So I do try to pick up some stuff of that nature. There's not one particular coach that I would say that obviously the Popoviches and the Spoelstra and those guys are obviously, but all those guys are tremendous coaches.
Yeah.
So you can pick up anything you want, but I don't have a guy that I say I follow him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever any desire to go to that next level? Would you ever want to go to D1?
Division One. I mean, obviously, I was there before I came here for 3 years, Louisiana Monroe. There's times where I say yes, and then there's times where I'm like, I like where I'm at. Never really had any desire to be in the NBA or do anything of that nature. Not to say that if the opportunity presented itself, you wouldn't take a chance at it. But for the most part, I really have enjoyed junior college.
Yeah.
This is my 11th year, and this is as long as we've ever been anywhere as a family. And if you would ask me when I first got started, if I'd ever been in Juco or been in Juco this long, I probably would have had to say no, absolutely not. But it's just a different. You get the kids for a year or two. You can impact their lives so much greater, I think, at this level than you can at almost any other college level. Just from the standpoint of everything's got to happen so quick, and they're with you all the time, and they need this school, they need you, because they're trying to get out of here. They still got a carrot in front of them, and so many things could go involved in helping these kids grow up to be, obviously really good basketball players, but just in general, the men and the relationships that I've still got with my players that have moved on continue to show me like this is kind of where I want to be. This is where I need to be. I enjoy where I'm at.
Nice, man. Nice. Now, take us through a normal day. I know season's about to start in about a month or two.
Yeah.
Got all the jamborees, but let's say middle of November. Take us through a normal day for you.
Well, once we get into the season and stuff of that nature, things always change with film and different things. But right now we do every morning. Our team gets up together and go eat breakfast, and that's kind of a big thing we do. One, get you up out of bed. Two, put something in your system.
Yeah.
So many of these kids, they come in the middle of the afternoon and hadn't eaten anything. It's just like, go eat. Coach, I'm not hungry. But there's something there to eat. So we get up in the morning. We have breakfast together, and that starts their day. Some of them got 8 o'clock classes, so we know they're up and rolling to that class. Some of them have study halls and tutors and everything that morning, and then a 9 o'clock class. So we go through the class. During a normal week, we have individuals. So our guys come in and they get individual workouts scheduled around if they have gaps in their schedule as far as class. So they come in here, we work them out. Normally there's about 2 workouts a day, 2 different groups. And then, after lunch, we come back, we have weights. We lift, we're heavy lifters up here. We lift 4 days a week. So our guys lift, and then this time of the year, we're conditioning. And then, of course, once the season starts, we get into practice. We practice every day about 3 o'clock. So, and we lift year round. So right now, this time of the year, we're lifting 4 days a week. Once we get to the season, depending on games, we'll at least get 2 in, sometimes 3 lifts. And then, we film practice. So practice is over. Coaches come back. We watch our practices. We go over what we need to get ready for tomorrow. And, like I said, the one thing about this level that makes it, when we leave at 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever it is that day is done, you're not done.
Yeah.
Now your guys go back to the dorms. Now your guys are out in town. Like and you're responsible. So you got to go through those dorms and check and make sure. And kids are kids. They're always going to be having a good time one way or the other. But you got to make sure that's all under control. And then hopefully you don't get any phone calls, and you go to bed at night and you get up next morning and you try to do it again. So it's around the clock. It never really stops. But like I said, it's a good thing.
I had Coach Miller on last week, and he said the same thing. He said basketball, being a coach, that's 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
The other 22 is dealing with these young men. So you saying the same thing. It's
It is.
It's something universal, man.
It's across the board, and that's every college coach. He'll tell you. I mean, from the Ole Misses of the world all the way down to people like us at NorthEast. I mean, you know, sometimes they ask, man, all you do is coach basketball, and you really want to be like, no, that's kind of the last thing I do. All the other stuff that goes into a normal day and a normal week, and then you said, then you got recruiting on top of that, because as soon as you, like right now, we're excited to have the guys here, but in the back of our minds, we got to go get new ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it never really stops, keeps it fun, keeps it entertaining. We're fortunate to have some really good kids. And a lot of that has to do with, obviously in our recruiting, you try to get the guys that fit your program. I'm extremely fortunate here with my two assistant coaches. Kyle Morris is my associate head coach. He's been with me for 10 of the 11 years that we've been here, and he does a tremendous job all the way around. He's the head coach all the way. He just happens to be assistant coach for me right now. And so when you have guys like that on your staff, and of course, like I said, my dad's here as an assistant as well, so you got years and years of experience there. So when you got guys like that in your program, it makes things easier.
Yeah.
Because I know at night or I know during the day, if I can't be at a workout, that it's in good hands. And whatever it is we're doing, I know my staff takes care of it. Kyle's a relentless recruiter, so I know in the back of my mind that whatever we need to get done in recruiting, it's getting done. You're not ever having to really second guess these guys and follow up behind. So when you got a staff like that, things can kind of fall in place for yourself, then you can branch off and do other things and, hopefully build your brand and your product that you need at your school to keep recruiting and do things.
Yeah, facts, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, we're going to go through some quick hits.
All
right. Boonville, I know it's a pretty good size town.
Yeah.
Up north, we got Corinth, but we could say Boonville. Favorite place to eat in Boonville?
Favorite place to eat in Boonville? Well, kind of a double-headed question. Our favorite place is we have a tradition here on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
All of us, all the coaches, football coaches, us, we go up to a Mitoro, a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And we started it about 3 years ago, and I don't think we missed a Wednesday in 3 years. So it's a great deal. We all get together, we hang out, keeps the camaraderie on sports and stuff like that. So I would say that far as probably there or a place in town called BS.
Okay.
Bar and Grill.
Okay.
It's tremendous food. It's opened up downtown. They were a restaurant during the day, and then they opened up at night on Thursday through Saturday, and they got TVs, and food's tremendous. So I would say BS is one of my favorite places to eat, and then just the fellowship that we get out of going to Mitoro on the Mexican restaurant on Wednesday is always fun. So those two spots.
All right. Favorite player in the NBA right now and favorite team in the NBA right now?
Favorite player in the NBA? I would have to say probably Kevin Durant, just because of his versatility and the things that he does. John Morant excites me to watch. Favorite team? I've always kind of been a Laker fan.
Yeah.
Being that I'm from Louisiana, Shaq went there. Then I was a huge Kobe Bryant fan, so became a Laker fan. Now I'm not a LeBron James fan. And Coach Morris is from Ohio, so he's a huge LeBron James fan. So now I have a hard time with the Lakers. So I pull for the Pelicans at times just because Louisiana. So
yeah.
I fluctuate on NBA teams.
Okay.
But Lakers are probably my most consistent with Shaq and Kobe.
Gotcha. Now, this next one is always controversial. Everybody nitpicks. Top 5 NBA all time. Your top 5 NBA all time.
Top 5 NBA. I'm gonna say Steph Curry, obviously Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I'm gonna say Larry Bird, and again, maybe that goes back to what we talked about with the shooting, and then Shaq at the 5. And just for the sake of coming off the bench, I'd come up with a guy by the name of Joe Dumars.
Okay.
One of my favorite players. My dad coached him at McNeese, so
wow.
You got a little favoritism there, but that's what I would say: Steph, Jordan, Kobe. I'll go Bird, and then Shaq.
Okay, Joe Dumars. That's funny, man.
Yeah.
So I was born in Flint, and my dad was a huge Pistons, and huge Bad Boys fan.
Boys, absolutely.
I know about Joe Dumars. Yeah. He would say McFilthy and McNasty. That's what they call those guys.
They were some bad dudes, man. They did. They in their own way, they changed the game as well. So
definitely. That's funny, Coach. Man, I appreciate it. I'm definitely looking forward to coming out I had Coach Miller. I want to head down to Jodes for a game, and definitely
Yeah,
have to come up here. It's a
anytime.
different. It's different watching junior college. I mean, it's the college level, but it's really nice. It's
Yeah,
nice. I haven't been around a lot of junior college basketball, but just coming into the arenas now, meeting coaches,
yeah,
it's something that's really cool that I found enlightening
yeah.
in the game of basketball.
I'm telling you, man, this junior college in Mississippi has got its own different feel to it, but it's a competitive league. I tell our guys all the time, I said, talent obviously helps you win games, but in this league, you better have some tough kids. And
Yeah,
that's one thing I'll say to the Mississippi kids. Sometimes the recruiting they get overlooked a little bit at times, and they play a little bit of chip on their shoulder, but they're tough kids, man, and they will fight you tooth and nail to the end of games. And that's what makes our league really, really competitive on any given night. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 or number 15. There's a chance. It doesn't shock us when we all get on the phones and we look up who won where last night, and Monday night you look up and say, man, such and such beat such and such. It's a little bit of a shock,
yeah,
but a lot of times you're like, man, I bet it was at their place. It's just our environments are good, competitive. The coaches of this league have, each year continues to get better and better. So it's been one heck of a league for years that I've been in it, and continues to grow. And it's a fun league. So yeah, I mean, come out and watch. There's always good games every night. There's going to be some action, and Juco, there's always something going on,
yeah,
So it
yeah.
keeps it entertaining. But we love to have you and anybody who wants to come.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it again,
absolutely,
man.
man. We appreciate you.
And I'll be talking to y'all next week. We're gonna go back to speaking to a few high school players, and then we're gonna go back to that transition. Try to get coach player. What's your sport day? This your boy Leo. Talk to y'all next week.